Alright, guys, so this is another Patreon request, and this one comes from Bombastic. And as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can hit the 4th tier and send me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. So, Bombastic asked me to do a... Well, he did ask me to do a video game sequel to a, video game of X-Men vs. Street Fighter 2 several months back. Now, this time around, he asked me to do a sequel to Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And, yeah. So this is Marvel vs. Capcom 4 in the Infinity Gods. Or Gods of Infinity, however the fuck I want to word this. We'll see it. We'll see. That's future Multi's problem. Anyway, so Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is basically set after, of course, the events of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, MVC 3. So in there, more or less, Galactus had been beaten back, and Wesker and Doom's whole plan has been thrown asunder. At this time, however, Thanos had been during the whole crisis that had been going on between Galactus trying to eat the united world, the fused world, and with Wesker's whole plan as well. Thanos had basically been going around, while he wasn't bothered by any of this, Thanos had been going around collecting the Infinity Gems again. This time, however, Adam Warlock shows up, and Adam Warlock is literally like, not fucking again, okay? Not again. We are, how many times Thanos must you get the gems only to inevitably fail? And we just survived a massive crisis, and Thanos was like, yeah, it was the perfect time. Which also, side note, why don't villains do that more? Like, why don't supervillains do that? Like, other supervillains do that more? Like that whole, and what I mean is, why don't they use major crises to put together their own schemes? Like the whole thing with Null and the King in Black, like the whole thing with Null, like why didn't another villain use this opportunity with all the heroes distracted to concoct their own schemes? Or Doctor Doom was busy helping Iron Man battle Null, but there were tons of other villains out there. Why does it have to always, why do in events other supervillains just stop what they're doing and just wait it out? Because the only time I've seen it actually work is when someone actually was using a event to avoid, use it as an event as a cover for their schemes, was World War Hulk, when MODOK did the miniseries MODOK's 11. That was literally the only time I can ever think of. They were literally using Hulk's attack on Earth during World War Hulk to pull off a robbery. Alright, rant's over. So, like I said, but cycling back to this. So in this story, like I said, Adam Warlock had been aware that Thanos was gathering the Infinity Gems while Galactus, Doom, and Wesker's whole thing was going on. And this time around, the two battle, and the gems actually become self-aware. Even they're tired of this bullshit. They're not just tired of Thanos' bullshit, they're also tired of Adam Warlock trying to claim dominion over them. So they're like, we're gonna choose who gets dominion over us. So what happens is the Infinity Gems fly off and actually bond with six people, thus creating the Infinity Gods. Or rather, the Infinity Gods are born. And so 3 Capcom characters and 3 Marvel characters become the Infinity Gods. So, Adam Warlock ain't one of them. The Soul Gem, he thinks the Soul Gem will never abandon me. Soul Gem's out. So, in here, Ryu becomes the god of space. Kamala Khan becomes the goddess of power. You also have Mega Man, who becomes the god of reality. You have... Yeah. You have Black Panther, who becomes the god of soul, the god of the soul. You have... I said Ryu, Mega Man. Oh yeah, what was the other one? Was the god of time, and the god of time actually is the god of time is actually Zero. So Zero becomes the god of time, and the god of the mind. I just referenced a Disturbed song, "God of the Mind." So, and the god of the mind is Reed Richards. So there's the Infinity Gods, or rather, Goddess of the Mind. Let me rephrase that, because I was thinking, oh yeah, Reed Richards was the obvious choice, but really the one I wanted to have as the Goddess of the Mind was Jean Grey. So Jean Grey becomes the Goddess of the Mind, and they basically come as the Infinity Gods. They more or less, as the six of them, now with God, each of them having a Infinity Gem infused in them, are like, we foresee all this great damage and destruction from the events of Galactus and whatnot. So what we're going to do is keep the worlds merged, and what we will do is protect both worlds. We will basically keep the worlds fused, and we will essentially watch over and protect our two universes in one form. And of course, the Marvel and Capcom characters are like, what? They are literally like, I don't think that's a good idea. But of course, the Infinity Gems have overwhelmed them, and now they are just basically like, yeah, we're doing this whether you like it or not. That's their whole thing. Is like, yeah, we're gonna do this is happening, guys. This is happening whether you want to or not. And yeah, so the worlds are merged again, and this time it becomes more cohesive. We're basically ignoring everything that was that train wreck that was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. This is what Marvel vs. Capcom 4, or rather Infinite, should have been, right? Like, I'm basically like, yeah, all the things we wanted to get in Infinite, we never got story-wise. So, the Infinity Gods are now Lords and Masters, the 6 new Lords and Masters of this Earth, of this new Earth. And unfortunately, the Avengers and the heroes of the Capcom universe are basically like, they discover that, like, what the Infinity Gods are doing are what they are doing is keeping a world two universes fused is going to, like, shatter everything. It's going to literally break the multiverse. We'll have another, like, Secret Wars event happen. Like, that's where it's kind of headed, is like, it's another Secret Wars kind of event, and there's no real way to stop it. Like, that's kind of the scary thing. So meanwhile, while this is going on, you have Thanos, who is like, yeah, I'm going to get those Infinity Gems back, and I'm going to prove myself, like I've proved to Lady Death, that I am... sorry, migraine. Fighting through that. I am going to prove to these gods that I am the only god here. So Thanos is, of course, prepares to unleash the Black Order onto the Earth during all this, and he's got some new recruits with him, ranging from Gutsman to Balrog, and he's basically getting all these other villains behind him to make a new, like, Black Order behind, set behind him, so when he gets ready to unleash them, it's gonna be a shit show. Of course, Captain America and Jill Valentine, of all people. Well, Jill's pretty capable leader. I shouldn't, talk down like that. I'm sorry. Oof, man, it's been a long night. Anyway, but Jill and Captain America more or less rally everyone together to stop the Infinity Gods. And I wanted to have, like, these cool things, like Miss Marvel, and now as the goddess of power, takes on like all these strong characters, all the strongest characters like Zangief, Hulk, Juggernaut, all these different like super strong characters go to face her. Like, yeah, as the goddess of power, I'm going to show you why I'm now the goddess of power. And that, I thought that would be a lot of fun. Also, with Jean as like the goddess of the mind, is now just her psychic abilities are now like amplified tenfold. And I thought if she was an actual like boss character, she would basically have like as a final move, she would create like in her final attack like a blue version of the Phoenix, because yeah, it's the Mind Stone, it's blue, so you could have like a blue Phoenix come out and attack someone. I thought that'd be pretty fun. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much Marvel vs. Capcom 4, The Infinity Gods. You guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of it? And also, I'd like to thank Bombastic for this video idea. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon. And once again, like I said, hit the 4th tier where you guys can send me videos to do for video requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.